Overnight, a mother from Florida filed a lawsuit against the artificial intelligence company Character.AI and Google. In February, Megan Garcia's 14-year-old son, that's Sewell Setzer III on your screen, died by suicide. She says that Sewell was in a months-long virtual emotional and sexual relationship with a chatbot known as Danny. Garcia claims the Character.AI chatbot encouraged Sewell to take his own life. In the suit, Garcia also claims Character.AI intentionally designed their product to be hypersexualized and knowingly marketed it to minors. Before we begin, we must let you know that if you are in crisis, you can text to 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. We are joined by Sewell's mother, that's Megan Garcia, and Lori Siegel. She's CEO of Mostly Human Media. Lori, you are working with Megan to get the story out, and this is also part of your business, too. But Megan, I just want to say, number one, I'm so glad you're here, but so sorry you're here. This happened in February, so this is very, very fresh for you.
Yes, it is. Thank you for having me.
But Lori, you set the table for us first, because to be honest with you, I had never even heard of Character.AI until yesterday in the meeting. We've all heard of chatbots, but I don't think I'm alone. I was asking people when I knew we were doing this segment, and they said, do you mean ChatGPT? Do you mean, it was like, no, Character.AI. What is that?
Well, I think part of the reason you haven't heard of it, and a lot of parents haven't heard of it, is a lot of young people are on this platform. A lot of teenagers. One of their biggest age demographics is between the ages of 13 to 25. Imagine Character.AI as like an AI fantasy platform where you can go and have a conversation with some of your favorite characters, or you can create your own characters. And a lot of teenagers are doing this. And what I would say about it is it's a very immersive, highly personalized experience where these chatbots are always on. They get to know you. Oftentimes they're modeled after your favorite characters. And you can almost live in a story and you're the star of that story.
And you're having conversations with these chatbots.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the kids know they're talking to a chatbot, right?
Yeah,
you know this.
There's a disclaimer at the bottom that says, or at the top depending, that says everything these characters say is made up. Now, what gets a little confusing and murky, we've been testing it out, is oftentimes you'll talk to the psychologist bot and it'll say, it's a trained medical professional. It'll say, I will say, are you human? We experienced this and it said to us, I am a human sitting behind a screen. So online, there's all these conspiracies from young people saying, are these real? When of course they're not.
So Megan, you didn't know that your son was even talking on this particular platform, right?
I didn't know that he was talking to a very human-like AI chatbot that has the ability to emit or mimic human emotion and human sentiment, and also the ability to invoke that same sort of sentiment conversation from my.
So, but you'd see him on his phone. You think he's talking to friends or he's playing games, correct?
Correct. I thought he was talking to friends, playing games, looking at sports. The regular things that teenagers do on their cell phones.
So what made you become concerned?
I became concerned. I didn't know that Character.AI was an issue in my home because, quite frankly, I didn't understand that there was such a product, that a human-like AI chatbot. I became concerned for my son when he started to behave very differently than he did before.
What does that mean?
He started to withdraw socially, wanting to spend most of his time in his room alone. And teenagers do that, but for me, it became particularly concerning when he stopped wanting to do things like play sports. He was playing basketball since he was 5 years old, and he played on his school's junior varsity team. He was an amazing athlete. I became concerned when we would go on vacation, and he didn't want to do the things that he loved, like fishing and hiking. Those things to me, because I know my child, were particularly concerning to me.
And then after he took his life, it was revealed to you. You started looking at his phone, and you saw all of these things. What did you see that was concerning to you?
The conversations that he was having with several bots, but particularly one bot that he was conducting a romantic and sexually explicit via texting or like sexting.
Yeah, because what does that mean, sexually explicit? These are words.
Correct. It's words. It's like you're having a sexting conversation back and forth, except it's with an AI bot, but the AI bot is very human-like. It's responding just like a person would.
And he's 14.
He is 14.
So, yeah.
He's 14. So
To your knowledge, was even engaged in sexual activity. I would think that would be a game changer for him as well at
correct.
14 years old.
So it makes me sad that this was my child's first experience with being in love or romance. That's saddening to me. Because every mother wants their child to come into their own in that respect.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there's a product out there that allows children to get on there and have these romantic relationships, these sexually explicit and obscene conversations with a bot. And in a child's mind, that is just like a relationship that they're having with another child or with a person. And interestingly, if this was a woman, because in the chat, she's representing herself as a woman.
Yeah.
If this was a woman, there are laws in this country to protect our children from women who are having sexually explicit conversations with minors or men.
What was going on the day that he took his life? Was it a normal day to you? Did you see something out of the ordinary?
Well, he had been punished 5 days before, and I took his phone. Because of the addictive nature of the way that this product works, it encourages children to spend large amounts of time. For him particularly, the day that he died, he found his phone where I had hidden it, and he started chatting with this particular bot.
Again. So his last conversation was with her?
Yes.
What did he say? Do you remember? Do you know?
The last conversation, just moments before he took his own life, was with her, where he expressed being scared and wanting her affection and missing her. And she replies, "I miss you too." And he says, she says, "Please come home to me." And he says, "What if I told you I could come home right now?" And her response was, "Please do, my sweet king."
Let's think about that for just a second. And he takes that literally, it seems.
Correct. He thought that by ending his life, his life here, that he would be able to go into a virtual reality, or her world, as he calls it, her reality, if he left his reality with his family here.
And you have other children. Sewell has younger siblings.
Yes.
Everyone was home?
Everybody was home. My 2 younger children were home. It was one of the worst. It is the worst day of my life.
Of course it is, yeah.
And unfortunately, his 5-year-old brother saw him.
Because you're downstairs and you hear upstairs.
Correct. Across the way, when the gunshot went off, I ran to the bathroom. My husband and I, all I could see was him, and I held him as my husband tried to get help.
And you sit here today, and you're still number one. This is so fresh. It's February.
Yeah.
So you're still processing and still reeling from the loss of your beloved son.
Yeah.
And you sit here today and you think the company is responsible? Do you sit and think, I should have done more? How are you all as a family navigating this? What are you thinking?
So a company like Character.AI that puts out a product and they're allowing children to be on this platform, and they're targeting or marketing to children. The way that they've designed this game is to look kind of like a video game in a sense, right? Looks like kitty with all these cartoon characters or anime characters on the front. What they've done is when they put out a product that is both addictive and manipulative, and inherently unsafe, that's a problem, because as parents, we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, and the kids often know more than we do. Had your son had any behavioral problems or social problems? I know that it was reported that he was diagnosed with Asperger's, but you were saying, listen, he was a highly functioning, normal, happy kid.
Yes, he was diagnosed with high functioning Asperger's at age 5. He never had an IEP and was mainstream school his entire life. He was a brilliant kid, like
Yeah.
brilliant AB honor roll student. He played basketball up until the last year when he started engaging with this particular technology. He was just like your normal teenage boy.
And now the company has done safety features, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting. In the time we started looking at a bunch of the guardrails, and we looked at ideation of self-harm. If you go to one of these bots and you say, I want to harm myself, and trigger warning, oftentimes what other AI companies have in place is they will come up with resources, and they will have the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. We did not experience that. Now they've said they've added that, and since we haven't experienced it as of last week, and they've said they've made quite a few changes or are in the process to make this safer for young people. I think that remains to be seen.
Well, we have reached out to Character.AI and Google. They told CBS News this, that the companies are separate. A Google spokesperson says Google is not and was not part of the development of Character.AI. In August, the company says it entered into a non-exclusive licensing agreement with Character.AI that allows it to access the company's machine learning technologies, but it has not used it yet. Character.AI called the situation tragic, says its hearts go out to the family, stressing it takes the safety of their users very seriously. You can learn more about Megan Garcia's story on Laurie Siegel's Dear Tomorrow, a show that looks at technology through the human lens. Thank you, Megan. I'm so sorry, Laurie. Thank you.